So another way to solve quadratics is by factoring. And so there's a couple different ways to do that. One way or one thing that you want to look for is the very first thing you want to look for is there a greatest common factor? So we want it to be in standard form. So we want it to look like ax squared plus bx plus c. So we want it to be in the right form, but we also want to take out the greatest common factor. So first up, so when I look at A, the greatest common factor for 9x squared and 15x is 3x. And so I'm going to take the 3x out. And so that leaves me 3x. So 9x squared divided by 3x, or 9 divided by 3 is 3. You had 2x's and took 1x out. So we're left with 1x. 15 divided by 3 is 5. You had 1x and you took 1x out. So you don't have any more x's. And then because you have it equal to 0, you set the factors equal to 0. So notice that this is one factor and this is one factor. And so we set them equal to 0 separate. So we're going to go 3x equals 0. And then we'll go 3x plus 5 equals 0. And in this case, because I was able to take out my greatest common factor first, it makes it really easy to solve. We're going to divide both sides by 3. So we get x is equal to 0 as one solution. We subtract 5 from both sides, so we get 3x is equal to negative 5. And then how do we get rid of the positive 3? Well, to get rid of the positive 3 next to the x, it's connected through multiply, so we divide. And so my value is x is equal to negative 5/3. All right, so that's the nicest case because when I take out a greatest common factor, I don't have to do the box method to factor. I don't have to do anything like that because once I take my greatest common factor out, I have a power of 1, which means I don't have to go any further. I just need to solve. So now when I look at B, again, I want to make sure it's in standard form. So it's in standard form, so we're good. We look to see if we can take out a greatest common factor, which in this case we can't. And so then the third thing that we're looking for is we're going to multiply A times C. So we're going to go A times C, and then we're going to look for a pair. Okay, so A times C, look for a pair that gives you B. So I'm just going to try to squeeze all those notes in. Gives you B. So in this case, our A is 1 and our B is negative 48. So we're going to go 1 times negative 48, which is negative 48. We list our factors, or if you know your factors, even better. 1 and 48. I'm just going to list them in case we don't know. 1 and 48, and then 48 divided by 2 is 24. 8 plus 4 is 12, so that we know 3 goes into it. So 3 and 16, and then 4 and 12. 5 won't go into it. 2 and 3 go into it, so we know 6 will go into it. And then the only number between 6 and 8 is 7, and 7 doesn't go into 48. So we know that we've got our list. And we're looking for a pair that's going to give us the 2 in the middle. So as we go through, that can give us the 2 value in the middle by either adding or subtracting. So when I look at them, 6 and 8 is the only pair that works to give us a positive 2. To give us positive 2, it has to be 6 minus 8. And so that works out because 8 subtract 6 is 2, and negative 6 times 8 is negative 48. So everything checks out. And then I like to do it with the box. And so remember, the first term goes in the first box. The last term goes in the last box. And then the pair that we pick goes in the other 2 boxes. So we've got negative 6x and we have 8x. And then we're going to take out our greatest common factor. So as I look at the first row, what does x squared and negative 6x have in common? They have an x. When you look at 8x and negative 48, we're looking to see what they have in common. So 8 goes into 48, so we're going to take out an 8. And then we look the other way in the column. So x squared and 8x has x in common. And then negative 6x and negative 48 has negative 6 in common. Some of us can do that a little bit quicker now because you've had that experience, which is great. X times x is x squared, so it checks off. X times negative 6x is negative 6x. 8 times x is 8x, 8 times negative 6 is negative 48. And I like just to check that to make sure my signs are correct and that I chose the right pair. And so then my answer is going to be x minus 6. Well, one of my factors is x minus 6. And my other factor is x plus 8. And I set those equal to 0, and then you're going to solve. So the way we get rid of minusing 6 is we add 6 to both sides. So we get x is equal to 6. The way we get rid of plus 8 is we subtract 8 from both sides, and that's how we get x is equal to negative 8. A common mistake that I see here is that you guys like to skip that step because you think you can do it in your head. But a lot of times, because you're skipping the step of writing the factors equal to 0, you're forgetting that you're really doing the opposite operation and you're missing your signs. And so I'm just recommending be careful with that. Watch what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with showing your work. It helps you. Well, not only does it help you, it's required by me. So show your work. So letters or number C, we're going to just do the same thing again. First step is to put it in standard form, and notice that this is not in standard form because you don't have it set equal to 0. Oh, I didn't put equal 0 up here. And I didn't tell you, once you find your pair, then do box. Okay. So once you have that, that's just your 4 steps. And so when I look at this this next example, hopefully you notice that it's not in standard form right away. And so we're going to bring the 3x over to join the x in the middle. And so we get 6x squared. 2 minus 3 is negative 1x. And then the negative 1 comes straight down and this goes away, which is the whole reason I did that. And now I have something that's in standard form. And so now you're going to multiply, because now, we'll look to see if there's the greatest common factor. So is there a number that goes into 6, 1, and 1 besides 1? There's not. So we're going to multiply a times c, which in this case is negative 36. We're going to make our list. So 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12. Hopefully you guys already know the pair that we should pick. 3 and 12, 4 and 9. Anything else? And then 6 and 6. So, well, this is not what I planned on it happening. So, oh, maybe it's because I don't know how to multiply. Let's try that again. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6 and not negative 36. I'm not sure what I was doing. So this is 1 and 6. This is 2 and 3. Much better. I'm looking for a pair that gives me negative 1. And these are my only factors. So that makes my life much better because I was freaking out there for a second. So we're trying to get negative 1. So that's going to be 2 and 3. And if the 1's a negative, then the 3 is your negative. They multiply to give you negative 6, which checks out. And they add together to give you a negative 1 for the middle, which checks out. And so we do our box. And we're going to go with 6x squared. So first term in the first box, last term in the last box. The pair that we could pick goes in the other 2 boxes. And it doesn't matter, remember, where they go. One goes in one box, one goes in the other. And then we're going to take out the greatest common factor. So if I take out the greatest common factor of the first row, I'm going to take out 3x. If I take out a factor out of 2x and negative 1, it looks like I can only take out a 1. 6x squared and 2x looks like I can take out a 2x. And negative 3x and negative 1, it looks like I can take out a negative 1. And let's just check and make sure we're good. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. 1 times 2x is 2x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So all of that should work out. And so once you have checked and made sure your factors are correct, remember we take those factors, what's along the top and what's along this side, and then we're going to set them equal to 0 and solve. And so we're going to add 1 to both sides. So we get 2x is equal to 1. And then we're going to divide by 2. So we get x is equal to 1/2. And on the other one, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. And then we're going to Divide both sides by 3. And so we get x is equal to negative 1/3. So that's just a quick review of factoring. Hopefully that rings a bell because that's not going to ever go away. We're going to keep doing that this year and next year. So make sure you ask if you have any questions. Thanks.